Alright, welcome back everyone. The title of this video is going to be called Getting to the King James Bible. The reason why I'm titling it this is because before we even get into Genesis 1:1 in the beginning, before we even get to that, let's go ahead and talk about how this even came into being, where it comes from, talk a little bit about that. So the first thing I want to talk about is manuscripts. What is a manuscript? A manuscript is an original text of an author's work. So, since God wrote and inspired and man penned the manuscripts, it's his manuscripts and we just copied them through the ages. So when I say copy, what I mean is you have like the papyri would get old, stuff like that, so we have to copy it. And I'm going to get here in a second of how the idea is kept intact and what it's called. So in other words, it's what God told man to write down. So the first occurrence of the word write is in Exodus chapter 17 verse 14. Bullinger notes, writing was established in the tablets of Lachish and Tel El Amarna. Tel El Amarna, also known as Amarna, is an Egyptian city from around 1300 BC. You can Google it and find more information. The city of Lachish is a Canaanite city which is west of Hebron. That was roughly around 2000 BC when Canaan was the product of Ham and Noah's wife. Noah basically cursed Canaan, and God never cursed Canaan, so he went and had a huge land. You'll hear about the land of Canaan all throughout the Bible. I'm sure people are familiar with it. That was around 2000 BC. So the time of the Moses writing is 1491. So the way I get these numbers is you take 2000 BC minus 500 and you get to where we are now, to 1714. That's from Bullinger's dating, which is for the most part usually correct. So writing had been around for a very long time. It's not cavemen running around with chisels trying to figure out which side of the pond, I don't even know. So basically that's where the writing has been in existence. So the ideas I was talking about before of how they're copied and passed down. So if we turn to our companion Bible, and I'm going to put the link in the description. It's called therain.org and then a few other slashes and HTMLs. But for the most part, it's called the Masorah. Now what the Masorah is basically it's the idea of how to translate an idea from one person to the next without losing the meaning of what you're trying to say. So I'm going to skip down to paragraph 4. You can go ahead and click on this link and it'll give you the more in-depth description of the Masorah, because it's kind of small, so if I take a picture of it, it won't really come out too well, so I don't want you to strain your eyes. So basically, paragraph 4, the word Masorah is from the root masar. Sorry, it's a little too small. All right. So, it's from the root masar. It means to deliver something into the hand of another so as to commit it to his trust. Hence, the name is given to the small writing referred to because it contains information necessary to those into whose trust the sacred text was committed, so that they might transcribe it and hand it down correctly. What is that saying? Essentially, remember the game Telephone you'd play as a kid or as a drunk adult? It's a pretty wild party, but anyways, so when I tell the first person, by the time it gets to the 20th person, they go, yes, he said my shirt is blue or something like that. Good, I wore my blue shirt. So it's not like, hey, my shirt's blue, and it gets down, it's like, you drive a Lamborghini? Like, no, that's not even close. So that's what the Masorah does. And there's going to be, you'll see that if you scroll down, you'll see the text and kind of some more. If you click the link on the bottom of the rain page, you'll see that it goes into more depth and like actual pictures of what the text looked like and all that stuff. So basically, that is what the manuscripts are. That's where the Bible comes from. So a very quick word on the Dead Sea Scrolls. Put no stock into them. I'd put about as much stock into them as maybe Ambac Financial. So that's pretty much what I think of those. They're just, don't worry about it. It's all there. All right. So basically, the next part is well, actually, let's go with the summary first. So in summary, the Old Testament is the culmination of the Hebrew manuscripts given and inspired by God as the history of the Israelite people, their journeys, contacts with other people, and prophecies made to man. Notably, Christ being born through the seed line of the man Adam and Eve and what became of them. So that's what the Old Testament is in a very quick summary. The New Testament is the Greek manuscripts written by the 4 disciples Acts was written by Luke, because Luke was Paul's scribe. We'll go more into that as we move further along. He had a tough time seeing due to being struck down in Acts 9:15. He got messed up pretty good, but that's what happens when Christ directly acknowledges you. The Pauline epistles, and then James, Peter, Jude, and Revelation, all these were inspired by him. Paul did write his epistles, but you can tell they were very inspired. So basically, that's how God wrote the entire Bible, and especially the Old Testament and the Gospels and Revelation. So that's a quick summary of what the manuscripts are. Put up a few pictures just so you can kind of see. And if some people would just be like, how can you take a picture like these manuscripts and just go ahead and just think they're true? So that brings me to my next point. If these are stretches that how do they survive, something seems to be following us around trying to tell us something. For some reason, people are willing to just go to extreme measures to get this to go all over the world, to tell people something is telling us through whether it's some sort of intervention or signs or wonders or something. Something is trying to tell us something. And they've just been around for thousands and thousands of years, and it just does not seem to go away, and it does not seem like it will ever go away. It is told it will never go away, so you might as well kind of get to know it a little bit. Let's take A Tale of Two Cities. That was written in 1859. And it's considered maybe Catcher in the Rye and all that. Those are great literary works, but we'll stick with Tale of Two Cities. So that was written in 1859, and it's barely holding on by the skin of its teeth. I mean, some may dispute it. I'll look into it further, I guess. However, basically, it's a very niche market, I guess, of piece of literature. It's like you have colleges studying it, maybe some high schools. I'm not really sure, but no one's setting up missionaries to Nicaragua to go talk about the Catcher in the Rye. It's just, no one's really doing it. Or A Tale of Two Cities. So that was 1859. So that's what? 59, that's 61 plus. It's less than 200 years. I wasn't very good at math. So you see what I'm saying? It's just, so that's another kind of getting to know. It's why is this still around? It's because God's hand is on this. I mean, as you go through more and more and you live life, you start to realize that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and talk about the opening letter of the King James Version Bible. In the original 1611 letter, they explain, the translators, how they did their best as how they took the manuscripts and did their best to try to translate everything the best they could. They wrote a letter saying, keep checking this out. It's more than that. It took me 2 hours to read because it's in ancient English. And you're just sitting there there's no E at the end of book. Spell joy, J-O-Y, E. No, there's not, no. So basically, they went from ancient Hebrew to ancient English, which is a very, very tall order. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think they did a good job. So that's where you have your Strongs and your companion Bible, what I talked about previously. That's how you check them out, because as time went on, we had more tools to translate, like Ginsburg and Bullinger. Just people... just like I said, something's guiding this. And for 1611, that was a really good job. You can find out more details about the translators. Go to King James Bible's Translators, kingjamesbibletranslators.org. It was 54 people, I want to say. It was 53 or 54. It gives you more in depth of where they came from, who they were. It wasn't just random people going, well, I think this, and I think that, and I'm going to write a bookie. No, stop with the E's. So it gives you more about these people and where they came from. They're all highly educated scholars of Hebrew and Greek, and they were pretty awesome. You just Google translator's preface, and you'll go ahead and you'll find the entire thing. Let's see, where does that bring us? So, also, archaeological finds and a few examples. I got about 5 minutes here, so let's go ahead and tackle this really quick. A lot of stuff was found between the 1840s, 1960s, even through today. I think they found Hezekiah's throne recently. It's inscribed King of Judah. It goes back to exactly when he was the king of Judah in the 600 BCs. The Moabite stone. Let's talk about the Moabite stone. So we go to our companion Bible. It is going to be Appendix 54 on page 77. And what the Moabite stone was an ancient monument discovered by the Reverend F. Klein in 1868 at Dibon of the Old Testament in Moab. Basically what it is consists of 34 lines, and it was written by Mesha, the king of Moab, to commemorate his successful revolt from the yoke of Israel, recorded in 2 Kings 1:1 and chapter 3, and to honor his god Chemosh, to whom ascribed his success. You can go ahead, it's written in the exact language, at the exact time, in the exact historical context of what happened. Once again, you can Google the Moabite stone. I guess I can put a link in the description, so you can go ahead and read exactly how it lines up. If you want to go ahead and get the appendix, it gives you all the little footnotes and stuff where it matches up with more of what he's saying, like Numbers and Isaiah and all this stuff, how it all just correctly correlates with itself. So there's more proof. So that is, it's lock, stock, barrel. This is dated from this. It lines up with this. This happened. So then the next one, a quick archaeological discovery that not too many, I guess, bottle preachers talk about is Sennacherib's cylinder. You'll find this in Appendix 67 on page 98 of your companion Bible appendixes. And what Sennacherib's cylinder was is a cylinder of the king of Assyria named Sennacherib, and how he had Hezekiah essentially surrounded. It goes into, I fixed upon him and Hezekiah, king of the Judeans, who had not submitted to my yoke. And it goes on how he had him as a bird in the cage, and he had him completely surrounded. And it exactly lines up. This is all in the British Museum, by the way. This exactly lines up in exactly from 607 to 583 BC. If you want, you can go ahead and just go to Google. I'll find a good link for you. It's Appendix 67. You can go ahead and read all that, because like I said, it's kind of small with the print. So you want to just, it's just easier to read if you have a little magnifying with the plus in it. I believe it's called the Zoom. Man, forgot that one. Okay, so as you go through the appendix, you have all the footnotes and everything. So that's what that is. You have Sennacherib's cylinder, Moabite stone, Hezekiah, all kinds of stuff that's just been mistreated also throughout the years, because a certain group of people also does not want this to be learned by people. They want their traditions and basically want people just to get it as far away from God as possible. And they're doing a pretty good job at it. So I guess that's one reason why I keep on doing this, is because I'm pretty tired of just the abuse and of not just my people, of everyone just being basically led around the nose in deceit and deception. So, and it's just really just aggravating me. So basically that's pretty much what this is about. The manuscript, why something seems to be, following us around. That's about it. So the next one, I'm going to go ahead and do an overview of what the Bible is. It's not just random people writing random things. It's actual history, and it just takes a little study to go from ancient Hebrew throughout 4,000 to 6,000 years of history, and then back to English of modern times. So that's pretty much what this was about. So those are your manuscripts. That's the opening letter to the King James Bible, saying we did our best, and then some archaeological finds, and that's about it for now. So the next one, like I said, we're going to go ahead and do an overview of what this all is as fast as possible, and maybe get into Genesis. Who knows? That's about it. So thank you, and I will see you in the next time video. Lapse.